Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. Guys, today's reading, I asked what this reading was going to be about, and this is what I heard. They regret everything now. Are you supposed to feel bad for them? I don't know. They regret everything now. You know, they regret whatever it was that they did that hurt your feelings. They regret the decisions. They regret all of it. So I'm curious who this is for you. I'm just being a little extra nosy today. I'm curious who this is. Who's regretting and what are they regretting? What did they do? Was it something forgivable? Like, are you, able to move past whatever disappointment their behaviors created for you? Is this, I'm just gonna pull the cards and I'm gonna let the cards tell you guys what you are maybe needing to hear at this point. I'm gonna try and be efficient today because I gotta teach my class. But it's oh let me tell you. Also, let me tell you. I've been taking this bronchial supplement via tea, and I think it's doing something good for me. I think the teas that I've been taking, they're all herbal teas, and they've been amazing. I'm feeling my body responding very well to all of these herbal detox remedies that I've been doing. Good stuff. Speaking of good stuff, really quick, I've been working with our head baker right now, and we have found a way. Y'all got to hear this. Got to bring the mic closer. We have found a way to convert all of our grain-free, gluten-free breads into vegan breads. And they're so delicious. And they have the texture of bread. Ooh! So we're going to be making all the changes to the information on the website. You guys, last night, what we tried was an unflavored bread. There's no additional anything. It's just our basic bread batter. And tell me why it tastes like the most amazing sourdough. I'm saying. I'm saying. And then you can cut it because of the way it was cooked. You can cut it and turn it into ciabatta bread for your sandwiches. Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? Okay, let's get started. I'll share all of this with you guys on the website, soulworksynergistics.com, when it's ready to begin shipping out, which will be in maybe the next 48 hours or so. And we're also going to have available for a very limited run several flavors of the gluten-free, dairy-free chocolate truffles. Y'all know I make truffles, right? I taught myself how to be a chocolatier, and I make chocolate truffles, and we have them in the most adorable cups. It's It makes a fabulous, bougie, very decadent gift. And it's not even super sweet. It's like just enough. I'm saying we're getting ready for what holiday is that? Valentine's Day. We should have all of this up on the website within the next day or two. Okay. So let's get started. Ooh. Mm-hmm. So something happened that someone didn't want to take responsibility for it. Someone didn't want to someone didn't want to make it known that they were intentionally choosing things that were hurtful and harmful for you, right? It's like they see you as such a strong person that when they made these decisions, they figured, there's a strong connection, you'll get past it. They just needed to cut you a few times before, you know, they just needed to cut you a few times. It's almost like teaching you through pain that you need them. They miscalculated. They miscalculated because you just carried right on. You carried on and you were perfectly fine, and it was just kind of like, eh. you know? Well, maybe it wasn't that. Maybe it was something that really did hurt you. Whew, I'm starting to sweat down my back. What is this? Okay. Okay. Let me just I'm starting to sweat. Okay. Maybe it was something where it did hurt your feelings, but you really were not going to try and give it more than what you had already given it. And so you're just like, I'm just moving forward. Like, F it. You don't, you don't want to be my friend. You don't want to be my partner, whatever it was that you were going through. So they didn't want to take responsibility for what it was that they created, some type of hardship. And now they're grounded in the reality they created for themselves, which is I would say they're miserable without you, whether it is a friend or it is um like a romantic partner. It's like they're coming to the realization. It might have taken a few weeks, a few months, maybe even a few years, but they're very much realizing that they need to change this. They're trying to create alchemical change. They're trying to almost like undo whatever it was. They're looking for a way to undo whatever damaging experience you had with them, right? They're looking for a way to undo it. I don't know that they can. Their entire winter has been upside down over whatever it is that they're experiencing. I mean, is this a case of like whenever they experience hardship, they think that they can just maybe put enough effort into finding a way to like slither back into your life? Mm. I would think you would need to first consider like why you guys are no longer in contact in the first place. It's a broken union. Oh, did they break up with someone and now they think they're going to come to you? Is that what it is? I don't know. I don't know. But it's like, I don't know. Do you just want to be like the fallback person? Like, you don't want that, do you? To just be a fallback person where, you're like their security net. They can just act however, treat you however, and leave you whenever. And then when they're done playing their games with themselves and with other people, they're going to come back into your life and you're supposed to be okay with that. You know what I mean? I mean, I would think that you should be cherished. I would think that you should save the space in your life for the people who have the capacity to see you for the goodness that you are. Someone who could take one look at you and know beyond a shadow of a doubt, like there is nothing in their life that's more important than you. and protecting your peace is high on their priority. I'm saying, if they don't protect your peace, even when you're not around, are they actually worth the effort that you are going to put into this? I have this inkling that for many of you, it's kind of this thing of, you know, you're able to love to a degree that's just profound, and you're willing to overlook quite a bit, and it's just, you have to make sure the person you love in that way is worthy of that depth of love. No, you're not imagining things. I am assuming that you've been getting these hits from soul, these messages that are letting you know that someone's thinking of you, right? And whoever it is that's thinking of you, they can think about you all they want. There's no problem with that. But what are you going to do with that knowledge? How are you going to allow that to affect you? Is it going to be the very thing that sucks you back in to whatever it is that you have been forced to deal with because of them, right? Now, we want to be careful about entering into a space of like deeply believing that we are a victim. Like, no, you participated willingly. You are aware. So I don't know that you're a victim. I don't know that there needs to be a victim. I do know that there needs to be accountability. There needs to be ownership of you and your life, you know? Um, So for some, it's this thing of a homecoming. There's this potentiality that for some of you, this is someone who actually has some type of important, almost karma based, but they're not a karmic type. It's almost like a karma based agreement. It's Paladorian contract stuff where um, there's things that the two of you need to learn with in proximity to each other. So for some, you're not yet done with the role this person is going to play in your life. You're not done yet. And it's this need to heal. So maybe part of the message is that for those who, I'm not talking about the really toxic situations where you dodged a bullet. I'm talking about things where it's kind of like maybe ego kind of got in the way a little bit and it wasn't time to sever those connections, but because of ego or interference, the two of you opted to learn this lesson in a much more viscerally painful manner, right? So, and this is a select few. This is a person who is, maybe their presence is being brought forward once again to trigger healing for yourself, right? To really trigger some of that healing. It could it could potentially be a twin flame type thing. And when I say that, I'm not talking about they're coming back for romance. I'm talking about there are things that need to be, I guess, reevaluated after having had so many different life experiences that are better calibrating your understanding of life, your life in particular, and them with their life, and coming back together, even temporarily, to kind of share of the information to help you learn so much more about yourself and your purpose and all of that, right? So it's not necessarily that this is like you guys are reuniting, it's going to be boom chicka wow wow, and now this is it, this is a relationship you were waiting for. I don't know about that. I don't get that sense at all. I get this sense that someone that's important for some of you, someone that is important to your journey, to your understanding, to your development, um is either seeking healing, and the only place they know where they can heal is with you, around you, or someone is being brought back into your life, like circling back around. And this is something your souls agreed to before this life, circling back around so that lessons can be continued and things can move forward. So yeah. Foundation, homeland, they're coming back home. They're coming back home. For some, it's going to be an intimate type connection. They're entering into the temple, right? Your hallowed ground. For others, they're just needing to be in proximity. They just are in the homeland. Maybe the homeland people, that group, it's going to be more of they are just in contact again, but you guys are not going to be talking every day and really forging a very close connection, a very close friendship. For others, it might be that you become very close, that it starts with a need for conversation, and then you become very close. And then for an even smaller group, that closeness could eventually translate into a development where it turns into romance. That's a very select, small group, I promise you. And it's usually the people who were not planning to be romantic in the first place. It's usually the people who really are more interested, like both are more interested in learning about their journey. So security and concealment. If this happens, they won't be able to hide things in order to feel more secure in your presence. So this is a potentiality of someone who they feel very intimidated by your sensitivity. And that might be why their soul is bringing them back into your life, having them and their path cross with yours, because they can hide from everyone else, but they can't seem to hide from you. They can't hide what they really think and what they really feel. Either there's a very intense connection, or you're just extremely developed in your higher sensory perception, or both, or both. It might be why they regret how they did everything, because when they come back around, they know that you know. They know that they just wasted their time on someone in an effort to forget you. Let me just drink. I'm not laughing. This is a very awkward topic. Michael says, "Why are you laughing?" It's called nervous laughter, asshole. Now I'm laughing. Yeah, this is awkward. This is very awkward. So if you know who this is for you, and they come back around, and it does become clear that they went ahead and they moved forward with their life in an attempt to simply push you out of their thoughts, like, how are you going to take that? How are you going to take that? How are you supposed to receive that? Are you supposed to be flattered? Or, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't. Hi, my name is Emmy, and I'm socially awkward. I don't know how to read social cues. I'm not joking. I don't know how to read social cues. I have Asperger's. I don't understand. So, I don't know what you're supposed to do. Like, if you're asking me what I would do, mm, I don't know. I'm the type of person where life has taught me that once you're gone, you stay gone. Don't disturb my peace. I don't know. I assume at some point I'll learn this lesson, but I don't. What are you supposed to do with that? I mean, there's got to be other, like, the only thing I can think of is, are you supposed to feel flattered? Because that's not flattering, you know? That's concerning to me. That's concerning that if I could mean that much to you and you could just toss me away like that, like, I can't ever trust you. Like, I can't. I can't, because not even your feelings and the truth as you feel it within your heart can prevent you from lashing out at me just because your ego is unbalanced. Like, I could never trust you. That's sad. So I don't know what you guys are supposed to do. Um, but I just want to preface that, or put a little disclaimer. My perceptions come from the fact that I'm a very traumatized person. So I'm not going to give someone a second chance to better do what they failed to do the first time. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I haven't come across a circumstance yet where I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what you're supposed to do. Let's see what the cards say. So Michael says, how could a trust that never had an opportunity to be developed be broken? I guess it makes sense. How could trust that never had the opportunity to be developed be broken? Right? And he's talking about when the two components are deeply fractured on their own. The resonance can sometimes give the sense of complete and utter destruction of their identity and their life as they know it to be. And that can be a very intimidating factor. So I'm wondering if, for whoever this person is for you, there was such a deep resonance that it scared them to the degree that they thought that you would shatter them just by standing too close. And so they went into self protection mode. They couldn't wrap their head around how important you are. So it wasn't necessarily that they threw you away, it's that they asked you to be triggered to the degree that you would believe that they had the capacity to toss you away, when in reality, I guess they were holding on with bloody fingernails. I'm not sure. This is such a tragic reading. This is tragic. Did black magic factor into this? Was that because I see, thank you, Lindsay. um, I am teaching a black magic revocation live workshop, and you can find that on my website, k33academy.com. You just go to the store, you'll see um, all the different workshops that I'm going to be offering. I'm wondering if there was some black magic stuff that was factoring in, but we want to be careful about using that as an excuse as to why someone has poor coping mechanisms. Like, do you want to be the person that raises an adult who, like, doesn't want to listen to you anyways? I mean, so. But is it this thing of, are you raising them, or are you simply being reflections of each other and they're seeing it as, like, you have a lot of trauma as well? It's so easy to see other people's faults and so difficult and challenging to see our own, right? So I don't know. I would say they're your mirror. I would say that this is someone, um, someone who shows you parts of yourself that is dang near impossible for you to see or to grasp when someone else tells you about it. You're going to have to move forward. You're going to have to move forward. And this forward movement comes from you no longer being in the iron grip of whatever it was that happened in the past. You got to ask yourself, has enough time gone by for me to finally just let that go? Let those emotions go, let disappointment, whatever it is. You're being asked by your soul to surrender to whatever process you're in. There's someone that regrets everything right now. I don't know if it's you, I don't know if it's someone else, or maybe it's you and someone else regretting all of the things you decided, the way you behaved, the ways in which you did not allow the messages from soul to come in, right? The way in which you thought there were no other choices. There's always choices. There's always choices, more choices than you realize. So here's to entering into a limitless stage, a stage where you can allow yourself to find the different things that, you know, like the celebration, right? Mm. Sometimes the celebration is silent, you know? I wonder if you're going to have something to celebrate soon, maybe a confirmation of all of this stuff that's been going on. And yeah, gosh, this is I'm trying to remind myself to behave. Integrity, like, there's a lack of integrity. There was something that occurred where it's like the integrity that should have been present, the integrity that should have regulated the behaviors, that should have helped the interpretation of these behaviors that were received. So, integrity by the sender, integrity um, from the receiver. And there was a breakdown. There was almost like a violation of space. I'm huge on violating spaces. I'm huge on, maintaining the integrity of a space, and honoring, the sacredness of that space. Hmm. Yeah, that needs to be closed out. Um, it needs to be closed out, and you're needing to move forward from that. Whatever that was, you're needing to move forward from it. And if it's almost like if you've actually changed to the degree that you need to change in order to experience different aspects of your life, you're going to have to let that go, right? And then it's this thing of like setting this intention of anyone that's meant to be a part of your journey will somehow cross paths with you again without, you know, um, being committed to how it's going to play out. And then after that, knowing that if your paths cross again and you're now both completely different people, that the chances of you repeating the same events that hurt you so deeply years ago, because it's going to take a while to do this, that because you're both such different people now, that you're not going to repeat that. You can only repeat the circumstances if you are the same people that were present when the circumstance first happened. And so there's this need to really push through and not allow yourself to remain in that same space, longing for the same things. I mean, so there's a struggle with growth and overcoming, right? There's a struggle with overcoming whatever that circumstance was. There is a struggle with growing. There is a struggle with the fighting, the internal fight, the external fight. Um, okay, so Michael is asking me to address something. He's testing to see if I'll remain in a space of grace. Okay. There's this comment here. I fell in love with a woman, but I communicated with telepathically on Facebook Live. That felt my energy completely. The lives across the planet and does not speak my same language. And I mean head over. Um, and then they say at first sight, love at first sight, never ever happened to me, and I'm 41. And then there's this question of forget and move forward. You never enter into someone's mind without first being invited. Some people are too nice and they allow you to think that that was okay, but their behaviors will tell you that it wasn't. And that needs to be respected. And that's all I have to say. Can you forget? Are you being asked to forget? Can you move forward? Do you have the capacity and willingness to move forward? Or is this something where, and I'm speaking in general terms at this point, is this something where we are using spiritual concepts as a way to justify the behaviors that are not, they're not good behaviors? There is energetic etiquette that is oftentimes ignored in spiritual circles, online, even, in person. Did you know that when someone starts to read for you without you asking them to, that's a violation of their sovereign space? You've become a peeping Tom. So maybe we need to begin considering that sometimes we have these connections, what we think are connections with people. They're not actual connections. Not trying to gaslight anyone into changing their beliefs. I'm having a general conversation. Um, Sometimes we come across the people who will trigger us to behave poorly and forget about etiquette, energetic etiquette, emotional etiquette, because they have been tasked by our soul to be the very impetus for us to learn about ourselves. It's so easy for people to project outside of them. Um, the lessons they're supposed to be learning inside, you know? So it becomes this thing of, are we aware of where we're at within our journey, right? Are we aware? Are we aware of where we're at? Because the lack of awareness will create a war that we have no chance of winning. Any war between the self and the soul, you will lose, guaranteed. Any war between the self and the soul is not worth fighting. So rather than projecting out and making it about someone else, what we need to do is begin having conversations with our soul, asking our soul, what was I supposed to learn in that exchange? What aspect of this lesson am I missing? What is this person representing for me? Right? And really being really allowing your being to speak to you. Now, I won't touch on whether it was intentional, not intentional, or any of that. Again, these are general statements that I'm making, and they're not directed towards anyone specifically, right? They're not intended to make you feel badly about yourself or anything like that. These are things we have to ask ourselves so we can get a better understanding. We have to redirect ourselves from the messenger to the actual lesson that's being played out, right? Or a better thing is that we have to redirect ourselves from simply focusing on the lesson and instead allowing ourselves to carry forward and focus on how the lesson applies to our in real life situations, because we go through the lessons to learn about how to apply it into our lives. And when we don't apply the lessons to our lives, we then basically waste the lesson. But that lesson doesn't expire. What you learned, it can carry through your entire life. So at some point when it's appropriate and you're ready, where you've reached a level of maturity where it's like, okay, I kind of get it, you can then begin applying the lessons from years ago. Okay. Progression, Sejal. You're going to progress through this. All of that darkness that you've been experiencing, where it feels like you've been left in a shadow space, the clouds are going to break open and you're going to see sunshine again. Don't worry. Don't worry. Wow. You guys got to be careful during this period. There's a lot of distortions coming through. Lots of distortions. There's a lot of organic portals that are going active. Yeah. And we have to kind of take stock of how others play into the lessons we're learning for ourselves. So there's this thing where maybe some of you will experience someone from a past life returning back to you, right? Don't become so enamored by the concept of past lives that that you fail to observe what's actually happening. So I'm just going to be outright, okay? A lot of the organic portals, especially those with some type of public reach, they're going to be occupied by succubus and incubus consciousness. What that means is you will be drawn, if you are not in a space of observation, you will be drawn to them and you will think that this is a past life thing. You will think it is a twin flame thing. You will think all of these things. You will be so drawn to the point it's beyond explanation, beyond logic, beyond even soul. That's because you're drawn to the dark interference. If you pay attention, you'll see. If you don't, you will probably fall victim to a lot of the different games that a succubus incubus can play. Okay? Now is a time to use elevations in discernment. Now is the time. The thing about a succubus and an incubus, especially if they've taken they've been taken into an organic portal, a physical body, they will have an air about them that is just intoxicating. Intoxicating. It will be this thing that you don't question any of it. You know, like you guys, there's plenty of you that have shared with me that you're drawn to me. And one of the first things y'all say is like, I don't know why. Is that weird? No, it's not weird. Our souls probably remember each other from previous interaction. It's not weird. You're not being weird. You're not being inappropriate. You're simply sharing something that you feel I can understand. because you know I will understand. But then there's those other people I've come across, organic portals that are infested with incubus energy. Like, please, I'm not even joking. And these are usually the people who are very intrusive. Like, no, Emmy, you love me. No, I don't. You're nasty. Your energy is nasty. Your attempt to own me is nasty. Like your violation of my sacred space, thinking that you could push your thoughts upon me is nasty. You're flat out demonic. I don't want nothing to do with you. No, you just don't, your husband's confusing you. No, he's not. Not at all. Not at all. My husband doesn't interfere with my internal processes. He's not confusing me. He's not forcing me to tell you to stay away. That's my choice because I don't want you around. And they have this way, those who are organic portals and are being currently inhabited by a succubus or an incubus, they have this way of really attaching to your sacral chakra. You know what happens when one of them attaches to your sacral? There's a point very close to your sacral. It's a crystal star seal. And that energetic point is a point of dispersion. Whenever something enters into that space, it gets immediately dispersed through your entire auric field. That's the distribution center. It's near your sacral chakra. So you think that these emotions have now been spread through you, and so they're yours, and this is how you feel, and you can't get over it, and this and that. Gonna be some fun times we are approaching. You have to pay attention to the interactions you're having. And it's not to say that they've never had this opportunity. Succubus and incubus have never had an opportunity to occupy organic portals. Some of them live in organic portals. Since that organic portal reached even a prepubescent state. And I know this video is going to be highly restricted because I'm telling you actual energetic reality. Yep. So when you look through my list of videos on my channel, look for the ones that have the least views. Those are the ones that have the most powerful messages. And that's why YouTube especially will greatly restrict how far that video can go. I am under active shadow ban, and I have been for 2 or 3 years. I will not shut up, though. I will not play by their game. You deserve to know all of this so you can make decisions for yourself and empower yourself through the learning by causation and effect. Empowerment comes when you learn about causation and effect, not the concept, but the actual application into your life. That's what accountability is about. The active learning and mastery of causation and effect. When you choose this cause, it leads to this effect. If the effect that you have to live through is not what you want, Marlene, stop showing me that. If you do not like the effect that you have to live through based on the causation you chose, then you don't choose that causation again. You choose something else. And that's just that, that's just that. So dark interference will not be so interfering. Second interference card. They're trying real hard. Don't let them in. Don't let them in. Allow yourself to really take stock of what it is you're needing to learn during this moment, during this period. Mercury went direct? I think so. So we have another week and a half of Merc RX BS. Merc RX BS. That just rolls off the tongue. Merc RX BS. We have another week and a half or so of it, right? Because we're still kind of in the shadows of things. And I would not be surprised if in the next week or so, you have people coming out the woodwork from your past trying to reconnect with you. Keep in mind, approximately 70% of the population, 70% of the population is a living organic portal. You will most likely come across several every day. It's okay. There's still people. There's still people. You don't gotta, do anything, but know that uh, whoever that is for you, you have to assess what it means and what they are in your life to show you. It's usually about self-acceptance, learning how to love yourself, how to embrace yourself in whatever stage or phase you're in, learning as deeply as possible how to not repeat the same miscalculations, right? Because they're miscalculations. You think that this causation will lead to this effect, but in reality, it's going to lead to this effect, which is very undesirable for you. So then you're going to have to choose something else. Michael says, I feel like Michael and Marlene are plotting some stink. They say to pull cards from this deck. I don't know. I got to teach class in a few minutes. So, okay. Let's quickly. All right, collaborative dreaming. So, whoever this is with you, you guys are both at a level of a lack of awareness, and you guys are going to help trigger each other to push through that. Dream a beautiful dream. You're at the epicenter of everything you're experiencing. When you allow it to go up to the crown space, you allow it to become something beyond what you are going to go through. What are you going to go through? Well, visions of life beyond death. This is a massive global initiative of trauma-induced accretion by way of emotional scrubbing. So we're going to I don't know if you guys have been feeling it already, but an increase in emotion, emotional sensitivity, emotional response, emotional logic. These are things that are coming into play. That being emotional does not mean you're unstable or weak or any of that. This is the time to learn how to harness the emotions, how to listen to it. So that way you can use the emotions that you naturally will feel during these types of global initiative cycles to serve as a fuel for you to rise above. According to Hermetic principles, and this is something I've believed my entire life before I even realized Hermeticism was a thing. So emotions and circumstance, it's like a pendulum. It's ever swinging side to side, right? Side to side. And here you are. If you stay right here, the pendulum is going to hit you. But as this pendulum swings, that moment before you lose your caca, if you allow yourself to elevate and see from an elevated perspective using compassion and grace, you'll be able to be missed by the pendulum. It's not going to knock you down. You're still going to experience the things you're experiencing, but it's not going to knock you down. Right. And then, of course, it's going to obviously swing back. And you're going to keep having to do this. And every time you do, you are building the muscle, the strength, the stamina to not just jump the pendulum, but to play, what's it called? Double Dutch. Make it a goal to get to that space where you can play double dutch with your life's pendulums. And when you can do that, not only because double dutch is two ropes, right? Not only are you going to not be hit by your emotions and knocked over, you are going to be minimally affected by the emotions of someone else that comes swinging from the other side. Respond differently if your responses before have not produced the type of results that you're seeking. If they have, then further committing to that type of causation will further solidify the positive or the desired effects that you're seeking. This is about really learning how to control your life, not control other people, but your life. Being able to see how your decisions are your place of power and that no one else should make decisions for you. That's why I'm so big on like, you're not going to decide things for me. I'm not going to decide things for you. We're going to sit down, we're going to share whatever information, and we are each going to decide for ourselves what we need. And then we can come together, talk about it. If I respect your opinion, I will ask you for more of your opinion about what I'm choosing. And maybe you can help me see factors that I didn't consider. This is a period of power. It can be a very powerful period for you. Relax the hold of darkness and be at cause, but it's in reverse. So this darkness is a playground for succubus, incubus energy, for malignance and all of that. You're still safe within yourself. If you're centered in your truth, centered in your sovereignty, you are safe. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. You can feel the fear, but find more courage than you have fear. Keep trucking, keep going. You got this. It's your life. Faith in the process. It's in reverse. You know why it's in reverse? Sorry, I'm rushing. It's because you shouldn't stay simply in faith or hope. Those are the childhood of your consciousness. As you reach the young adulthood of your consciousness, you begin to hopefully enter into a space of gnosis where you know whatever life brings your way, it is for your greater good. You will learn something profound and you're going to be able to continue forward. So it's definitely growth season. We're going to be growing. You're going to do okay. You might have some challenges. You might have some questions. You might even have some self-doubt. That's part of the process. Perfectly fine. Keep going. Keep committing to yourself with the knowledge that your life will continue to bring to you the very people who will help enrich that commitment that you've given yourself. It's all good, you guys. It's all good. Let yourself learn the things you need to learn. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Join me when I'm live. In addition to that, I'll be going live later today. If you guys want to get some readings, personal readings, bio scans, I'm going to have all new energetic work options for you to select from. I'll be live around 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll see y'all then. Bye, everyone.